Hi beautiful mama, welcome back to my channel. My name is Desiree and today I want to talk to you about breast inflammation and breast engorgement. So let's get into the video. So first and foremost, let me explain to you the difference between engorgement and inflammation. With engorgement, it's not inflamed yet. The breast is very full and sensitive and hard, and there are some lumps in there from the overproduction of milk. So this is nothing severe yet, but this can definitely lead to inflammation if you don't tackle it on time. So with the tips and tricks that I'll be sharing with you today, you can already do a lot at home in a very holistic way to take care of the engorged breast. As opposed to inflammation, which is more severe, the breast is inflamed, there are some maybe red spots on the breast, and at this point it might be a very good idea to ask for help from a healthcare professional. So I will be mainly focusing on the breast engorgement in today's video and how to tackle that, but definitely also make sure that you watch if your breast is inflamed, because I do have a special home remedy and a little drink that you can make for yourself to fight that inflammation. So let's get into all the details. So this is one of those things that no one really explains to you until you're suddenly dealing with it yourself. First of all, this can happen to anyone. So it doesn't matter if you're breastfeeding or not, although it is more common, of course, during breastfeeding. I want to focus on the things that you can do to make sure that the engorgement doesn't turn into further inflammation. So when the breasts are feeling very full and very hard or tender, this is what engorgement is. If you catch it early, there is still so much you can do to prevent it from getting worse. Now, one really important thing is to make sure that you do not stop breastfeeding. I know that might feel counterintuitive, especially if your breast is hurting, but stopping suddenly can actually make the inflammation worse. So we definitely don't want to be doing that. Engorgement often happens when your baby starts sleeping longer at night or is feeding less often. So it means that your body is still producing and making the same amount of milk, but it's not being emptied quite as regularly. So one tip to always keep in mind is to make sure that you're feeding from both sides and allow your baby to really empty the breast completely. If you need to, you can wear a wristband to make sure that you know on which side you need to feed during the next feeding session. If you notice that your baby doesn't empty the breast fully while nursing, that's okay. You can still use a breast pump and just use it a little bit to relieve some of the pressure. And keep in mind that warmth is your best friend. So make sure to keep your breasts warm. You can use warm clothing, a warm shower, a warm bath, a hot water bottle. You can keep that close to you. Warmth really helps to keep the milk flowing and prevents the blockages. While you keep the breast warm, also make sure that you gently massage it. That can really help to release some of the milk glands that have gone full. So massaging in a very slow circular motion, always towards the nipple, is very helpful during this stage as well. So no force, a very gentle way of massaging. Something else that's very helpful is a warm compress or even a warm damp towel that you put onto your breast can be very helpful as well. So we really want to make sure that we're calming down this inflammation or anything that might lead towards inflammation. At all times, listen to your body. You will know what feels right and what doesn't. Another very important tip is to make sure you drink lots of water. Water is your best friend during this time. Hydration is essential when your body is producing milk and when you're dealing with inflammation. When you're dehydrated, that can actually make the engorgement worse. So keep water nearby at all times, especially during your feeds or while you're pumping. You could also include herbal teas or warm plant-based drinks, and also make sure that you're taking enough rest. And I know this is not always easy, especially if you have a newborn baby, but every little moment of rest that you can take is very helpful. Now let's get into some of the holistic things that I love to do to make sure that the breast inflammation or the engorgement does not worsen. First and foremost, golden milk. Now, I don't know if you've ever tried golden milk. I really personally am not a big fan of the taste of it, but I do especially love the anti-inflammatory and healing properties of turmeric. For me to make this drinkable, I need to add some maple syrup to it. So basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna use your favorite plant-based milk and you're gonna heat that up with some turmeric, and then I add some maple syrup to that as well, because otherwise I cannot stomach the taste of it. But some people just love to drink it as is without the maple syrup. So that's you. All the power to you. But for me, I do need that little extra bit of sweetness in there to stomach that drink. But it is really good for you and very healthy, and it's a very good way to reduce that inflammation. So here's my golden milk. Like I said, I always add some maple syrup to it to make it very drinkable and tasty for me. And I use a milk frother to create some of the foam on top, and it's very delicious this way and super healthy and anti-inflammatory. So cheers. If you're making this golden milk, what you can also do is add a little bit of black pepper. That will help your body to absorb the turmeric better. Something else that you can do, which is another home remedy, is using chilled cabbage leaves, and you can place them inside your bra. So basically what you do is you use the leaves of a cabbage and you put them in the fridge, and then whenever you need to, you can place that leaf of cabbage in your bra. That will really reduce the discomfort and even the swelling. Now in regards to bras and clothing in general, I would definitely recommend wearing loose fitting clothing, bras that are not super tight, maybe even go without a bra, anything that's restrictive you don't want to wear, because the tighter your clothing, the more chance of blockages. You can also change the position in which you're breastfeeding. So sometimes maybe you're laying down on the bed and breastfeeding, maybe you're feeding in your arm, maybe you're doing the rugby position. Yeah, just change it up. That can also help with releasing some of these glands that are full, because all these different angles really help empty different milk ducts. So that's what you want to go for in this case. Now this part is very important. If you suddenly feel very unwell, if you have a fever, if you have chills, if you have flu-like symptoms, or even intense pain, just make sure you contact your healthcare provider. In some cases, you might need antibiotics, and if you need that, that's okay. I personally always suggest trying the holistic way and the holistic things first, natural remedies, things that I just shared with you, whenever it's possible, when you catch it early on. But knowing when to seek help and medical support is also very important. But like I said, when you catch this early, there is so much you can do to prevent it and make sure it doesn't escalate into full-on inflammation. You know, your body is incredible. You're producing actual milk and food to nurse and grow your little child. So be gentle with yourself, love your body, and just, you know, make sure you take proper care of yourself. If you have any tips that you want to share, make sure you do it down below. I'm really excited to hear about your experience. If anything that I haven't mentioned was very helpful to you, definitely let's share it together, because I would love for us to create a community where we talk about these things and give each other all the tips and support that we need. We are all mamas walking this path together, and yeah, if we can learn from one another and help and share, that is just awesome and very wholesome. So I'd love for us to create a community here. So for now, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I hope this was informative for you. Make sure you leave me a comment below and share some love. And then I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Ciao. Golden thing.